Oh, hey, you lost? I don't give a fuck. Welcome, I'm Lil Bill. Let's get on with this. Today's rant, or whatever this is, more of a story time, and it's about the wealthy housewife, and how a good majority of them are evil. Now listen, I don't hate women. I love my mom, and I love my granny, and any other girl that acts like a normal human being, I love them too. We're all human beings in the end, so it don't matter. But I just hate those rich-ass housewives who walk into any room acting like they and their family are the most important thing in the whole fucking world. You know how fancy scholar people define the terms they use? Well, I wanted to define mine. Housewife is a wife who stays in the house. Simple as that. Don't work, just looks after the kids. And don't get me wrong, that's a pretty tough job. Like, I can't take care of myself for shit. That's just one person. Wealthy. This means rich. And I'm talking mommy and daddy both got $100,000 cars, and all their brat kids have cars too. I ain't no scientist, right? But moms are naturally wired to try to get the best for their kids. If this ain't the case, then your mom doesn't love you. Simple as that. But this wanting the best for their kids is part of the problem. A mom will see a million people die before her own kid. If you think about it, that's pretty fucked. 1,000,000 to 1. She would rather see 1,000,000 people with 1,000,000 mothers die before the creature that came out of her vagina. What's this kid worth to anyone? Absolutely nothing, that's what. You give a mom a gun, put her in Syria, right? And you say your kid's gonna die unless you solve this ISIS problem? Bro, her kill-death ratio is gonna be off the charts. She about to do a trumpet and Obunga couldn't do. And all this shit is escalated to the max when it's a rich housewife, because they are entitled as fuck. Everything has to be their fucking way. Anyways, are any of you service workers? Like a cashier or waiter or something? When customers get annoyed with you, who is giving you the hardest time? A dad might bug you for a minute or so, but dads tend to not give a fuck and they just raise their voice for a little bit, because it's their money in the end of the day that's going to be spent. They never really put up much of a fight. A working woman won't give you much of a hard time either. They're usually too busy to put up any kind of real fight. They're just gonna bitch for a second and then leave. But oh my god, a fucking housewife, dude, will verbally molest you until she gets what she wants. She's got all the time in the world and won't stop unless little Jimmy needs to be picked up from school or it's late and she's missing happy hour with the girlies. You know that specific type of housewife that is guaranteed to give you a hard time? The one with short hair, real whiny voice, usually sounds like she's from California or something. Those ones will try to end your fucking life. Let me tell you a story. I was taking an order at a restaurant I work at. The table consisted of 2 small kids, Mrs. Wealthy Housewife, let's call her, what's a housewifey name? Fucking Karen, right? Karen. And also at the table was Granny. And before you ask, hey lil man, you sexy as fuck. How do you know she's a wealthy housewife? Well listen, motherfucker. First, I can smell one from a mile away. Second, the jewels on her wrist, fingers, and around her neck gave a clear indication of what class she's in. And third, she is a local who comes 2 to 3 times a month. So I know about the family because we have to be extra friendly to the locals. And the husband's actually a pretty cool guy. But he wasn't there this day, so she was the queen of the table. Granny orders a tea, right? Nobody's drinking liquor and it's a fancy restaurant, so I'm already a bit pissed about that. The tip isn't going to be worth my time. I take the order, bring Granny her tea, and after 3 minutes they call me back in the most housewifey way possible by flailing her hands around and yelling across the room, "Waiter!" Just so you know, waiters hate when you do this, so don't fucking do it. Now, I know this woman is picky, so I'm assuming Granny is too. And I know exactly what they're going to complain about. Our tea is always not strong enough, and even though it's a good brand, I think it's pretty shit, so it is fair that Granny would want to complain about it. I walk over there, and Karen, speaking for Granny, it's like, the tea isn't strong enough. Get us another bag so we can make it stronger. Obviously, that's not how you ask for something. Please goes a long way, but I'm used to wealthy dicks, so I don't really care. I glance at Granny and give her a look of, would you like a new one? And Granny gives me a nice little nod. So I'm like, alright, I'll do it for Granny. Around this time, though, we've been going through budget cuts in the restaurant, and our managers have been giving us a hard time about giving away free shit. So I go, ma'am, it's gonna be another $5. Is that alright? The tea's $5, and I know I would never want to spend that much on a fucking tea bag. So I was being courteous and asking, dude, I learned my fucking lesson. Never to ask that to anyone again. She stands up looking like she wanted to punch me in the face. She goes, "How dare you? In a restaurant like this, $5 you think I can't afford that? This is ridiculous. I want to see your manager." Guys, ladies, gentlemen, I did not know how to respond to this at all. I was shocked. I thought she was going to be mad that I was charging her, but she was mad because maybe she thought that I thought she couldn't afford it. But as I said earlier, I knew she was rich. I was just being nice and letting her know I was going to charge her. Anyways, in my shock, all I did was laugh, which was a terrible response mechanism, and this shit is always getting me in trouble with people because I can't take them seriously if they're yelling at me. And she stormed past me and went to the front desk and demanded a manager. Luckily for me, the asshole GM wasn't there that day and was the cool young manager who didn't really care about much, but this also infuriated her more because he didn't know how to handle the situation. Anyways, they left, and I'm not allowed to serve her or even look at her anymore, but she tried to get me fired, which didn't work because nobody understood really why she was mad. Anyways, the moral of the story, in her point of view, is I'm a quote, insolent college brat that doesn't belong in a restaurant. Probably so many other words. The moral of the story for me and you is that first, don't piss off a wealthy housewife like that. And second, since they're so rich and have so few grievances, a little amber can cause a fucking wildfire. And that's my main point. They've got nothing to worry about besides looking after their kids who also have no grievances, so they both create them out of thin air. And they don't even look after their kids most of the time. There tends to be some Spanish-speaking nanny doing all the work for the mom, so she can take her tranquilizers and relax all day. In all seriousness, if we're going to learn a real lesson here, is that this is dangerous. Maybe not with housewives, just makes them bitchy. But in the real world, when people grow up with no struggle and no grievances, many of them are bound to look for them. This leads to people going down paths they shouldn't go down. It's up to the moms to guide their kids in the right directions and not teach them to cause problems for other people. Anyways, should I say that shouldn't be taken seriously? Some things I say that should. Hopefully you're smart enough to understand which is which. See you later, dicks.